You want to see the results that reflect the amount of effort that you put in, but you don't. And maybe that is sending you into a spiral of confusion and frustration, overwhelm, negativity, and understandably so, because it doesn't make sense. All the work you're doing isn't showing in your reality. And you're in your head trying to figure out what it is that you're missing. You're probably doing more of what you've already been doing in the hope that something will change, but it doesn't. Well, in fact, the only thing that does change is that you feel more frustrated, more overwhelmed, and more confused. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you what the actual problem is and how you specifically can solve for that. So if you're ready, let's dive straight in. Now, I am going to preface today's episode with the following belief that I have, that life coaching is business coaching and business coaching is life coaching. So wherever you're at in your journey, whatever reason you're listening to this podcast, I want you to think about where this does apply in your life. Ask yourself this question right now: where does this apply in my life? So you can take this teaching and this coaching and apply it to you. The hint that I will give you is that key areas that often benefit from this work are relationships and your health. So if you're not in business, go there. Let's start with the problem as you think it is. So you're not seeing the results that you want for the amount of effort that you're putting in. You work hard, you take action. So no one can accuse you of being lazy, right? That would probably be your worst nightmare. I know it's mine. But it feels like you're spinning your wheels because you don't seem to be making any progress. You're getting the same result, if any, over and over again. Well, actually, let's just preface that as well, that no result is still a result, okay? So your results do not match the amount of effort and energy that you're applying to get them. There is no substantial evidence for you that what you're doing is working. And maybe, very understandably, like I've said, you feel confused, exhausted, frustrated, downright peed off, because what is it that you are missing? And that's the question that's probably going around in your head all the time. What is it that I'm not doing? What is it that I'm missing? Because this isn't working for me, even though I see it working for other people. I can see other people's results from doing what I'm doing. Why is it not working for me? Now, I just want to put a little bit of a side note in there that is a very dangerous path. Remember that one of my mantras is no blame, no shame, no judgment. And we need to apply this to every single area of our life. The minute we get into comparison and judgment, we've kind of lost the battle already. Nothing good comes from it. Particularly because I think it's coming from internal filters and assumption. That's a whole other podcast episode. But here's the real problem as I see it. The results that you are getting are a direct reflection of your daily dominant thoughts. And I'm going to show you what I mean now with an example. Has somebody ever apologized to you, but you knew that they didn't mean it? Right? You had this inner knowing, this gut feeling, this reaction that says the words coming out of their mouth do not match what they're actually meaning. And that is just really about you having that knowing, picking up on non-verbal cues, picking up on energy that says there is a discrepancy between the words coming out of their mouth and what they're truly feeling. And that is the same as taking action in your business or in any area with these daily dominant thoughts that don't match your actions. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more right now. So if you're taking action in your business with daily dominant thoughts of fear, disbelief, desperation, anxiety, limitation, insufficiency, all of those things, that is what you're creating. Any thought that doesn't support your growth is like putting the brakes on your results. The analogy that I sort of received this morning as I was thinking about this podcast was, if you ever see sprinters and they've got like a little parachute attached and they're sprinting, it holds them back, it slows them down. And I want you to imagine or just notice that the parachute doesn't weigh very much. What's actually stopping them is something that you cannot see and you cannot touch. It's air getting caught in the parachute and it's slowing them down. That is what is happening with the daily dominant thoughts of lack, fear, desperation, insufficiency. Imagine them being like a parachute that are holding you back. Now, just on another side note, because you know I like to do that, training with a parachute makes you stronger and faster. And working on the thoughts in your brain consistently will make you stronger and faster and will make your success inevitable. I promise you. So here's a couple of questions. Here's a question I'm going to ask you, and I want you to make some notes. I'll think about where your daily dominant thoughts are. So, who are you in your business when you hold those thoughts? Those thoughts that we've just talked about of insufficiency, desperation. I've got a couple of examples here. Here's some common ones that I have worked through with my clients, or that I see in communities that I'm in. People won't pay me, or people won't pay me the amount that I want, or people won't pay me for what I do. I don't want to offer payment plans because somebody will cancel, and you might be going out to sell something, but you think you'll have a payment plan. Now isn't the right climate to sell. I don't know what my niche is. I'm not good at writing copy. I've not been doing this very long, so I'm not expert enough. There's people out there that are better than me. So ask yourself, when you're holding those thoughts, when they are caught in your parachute, how do you show up in your business? Who are you in your business? You might be taking all of the action, but the energetic signature is what people will pick up on through your messaging, through your conversations, emails, social media posts, in-person conversations. The energetic signature, like the apology, is what is coming before you. That's the preface for everything that you do. And we also know, and there's plenty of evidence to support this if you want to go research it, but universe, whatever you want to call it, but we create through frequency. We're energetic beings. We live in an energetic universe. I tell you this all the time. And so we've also got this double whammy that the universe is going, oh, this is the frequency. This is your frequency. Let's match that with an outcome, right? Not from a place of thinking. It's not a thinking space. It's just like we're just matching, because that's how we create. So when you've got this energetic signature that's delivering every word that comes out of your mouth in a non-verbal way, that is what you're creating. So that is why your results are not matching the amount of action, because your action is being held back, but putting the brakes on, diluted with these thoughts. What is the solution? It's very unlikely to be to do more. That should be a relief for you. And at this stage, it's very unlikely to be that you've picked the wrong strategy and you need to be a different strategy. The real work for you to grow your business to the next level right now is you adopting and growing belief in what you cannot see. You cannot believe it when you see it. You have to believe it in order to see it. You have to develop this unwavering belief in you and your ability to succeed. You have to have an unshakable belief in your product, your service, or your offer. You have to have an unmistakable commitment in your willingness to work it out, no matter how long it takes. Now, for those of you who are like, I just can't change my beliefs, you're right. It takes, there are some that we can use NLP techniques to go in and reprogram the subconscious mind, which is one of the ways that I work with my clients. But we also have this prefrontal cortex in our brain that allows us to choose something different. So all beliefs are just thoughts repeated. So in order for you to start making that shift now and release the pressure, so you're not trying to do all of the things, you just want to focus on one or two daily dominant thoughts that serve you, repeated and then cemented in with action taken in this energy. So let me see if I can think of an example for you. If as an example right now, you're telling yourself that people won't pay me for what I do, and you decided that is an energetic signature that is sabotaging your success, you might choose to have a daily dominant thought that there are people waiting to pay me for what I do. Now notice, it doesn't have to be a belief yet, but when you say to yourself, who am I and how do I act when I come from that thought of people are waiting to pay me for what I do, take action from there, do your content from there, reach out to people from there. And as you do that, as you hold the thought and you cement it in with daily action in that energy, it will become a belief. But you can't just go, right, I'm going to have this thought today that people want to pay me, they're going to line up for me, la, 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 and then start taking action, because you're not anchored into it. Now, I'm going to remind you again at the end, but I want you to go listen to episode 152, where I talk you through something called the model. I've actually just created a worksheet to help you go through it, and I want you to run a model on what you're thinking. I'm going to explain that a little bit better at the end. But what I'm saying to you is, don't get your knickers in a twist about I can't just create a new belief. You can create a new belief through repetition of thought, and then it anchors in much more quickly when you cement that in with an action from that space. Now, when you find your way to stay in these high frequency cycles, which means if you think about thoughts of insufficiency, desperation, lack, anxiety, indecision, confusion, we're going to call those low frequency, because if you look at on an emotional frequency chart, they're going to be vibrating very, very low, which means you attract more of that. And that's what your potential clients are picking up. When we stay in the high frequency cycles, we are choosing the thought that, damn, yes, there are people waiting to pay me. I'm really good at what I do. It doesn't matter how long I've been doing it, because I've got life experience. People want what I have. I'm 20 steps ahead of somebody else. Like, it doesn't matter what the thought is. That's why I said finding your way to stay in high frequency cycles. Again, on another side note, how you stay in it can be different for everybody. It can be music, it can be getting outside, it can be working less, it can be co-working, it can be lots of different ways to stay in those high frequency cycles. This is why coaching is so valuable, because I don't let you slip day to day out of those cycles, okay? So when you find a way to stay in this high frequency cycle versus constantly fighting your way up from the low frequency cycles, I guarantee you will start to see results. Period. It is I'm not going to lie, it's the hardest work you will ever do, because your primitive brain, your reptilian brain, will deliver you all kinds of BS. Because it's just wired to keep you safe and alive. It is not wired to see you succeed as an entrepreneur. It feels scary to your primitive brain, understandably so, because it is a bit of a wild ride. So your job is to use this amazing part of your brain where you have conscious control, where no matter what your primitive brain offers up, you can override it with conscious thoughts and higher frequencies. So your homework for this session is, I want you to listen to episode 152, download the worksheet, and do a model for your business. And I'm going to, in the worksheet, I'll break it down specifically like what that looks like and give you examples. And once you've listened to the episode as well, it will make sense. Please also keep an eye out on if you're not on my email list, I'll put a link for that as well, because I have got an upcoming training where I'm going to take you through the model, and I'm going to coach some of you through the model, just so you can see how powerful it is to apply it to your business and start getting results quicker. And if you want to start getting results quicker, because why wouldn't you? Because that's why you're listening to this podcast, then I want you to know that I can help you transform your brain and your business in 6 months when you work with me one-to-one. So if you want to find out what that looks like specifically for you, like a prescription for what you need based on where you're at and where you want to go, just book your free consultation call and we can get on a chat and just talk about what that looks like for you. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Next episode, we're talking all about why you can't make a decision. So I look forward to speaking to you then. Take care. Bye for now.